Hi guys, welcome to Virtues class. I'm running in between my two classes. I have a Zoom morning class and a Zoom afternoon class, and I thought I would get on here and record this lesson on steadfastness. But before we do that, before we talk about that, where I'm living right now, it is snowing. Do you like the snow? You do or you don't? Yes, no, yes, no. Have you ever seen snow? Some people have never seen snow before, and that's okay. Where I grew up, which is where I live now, we get a good amount of snow. And what I love about where I live is the changing of the seasons. So when it goes from summer into fall, and then fall into winter, winter into spring, and spring into summer again, I love the changing of the seasons. So it's kind of the beginning of winter here. Winter where I live goes from maybe December all the way to about the end of March, April. The spring equinox is on Nowruz, which is March 20th or March 21st, depending on the year. Making snowmen, and we've been making maple candy. Have you ever done that before? If you haven't, you should check it out. And we have been sledding, and we created a ramp off of our deck before the ice froze so that we can slide down the back of our deck into our backyard. So it's really fun. We love the snow around here. Today we're talking about steadfastness, but let's first sing our prayers. So we're going to sing We Are Drops, Oh God Guide Me, so powerful. Blessed is the spot. And then I'm going to put again on here, Oh Lord, I am a child video, so that we can learn that. I'm going to get you hand movements. I keep saying I'm going to get you hand movements, but there are hand movements for that one that Maeve has created, and I'm going to eventually get it onto one of these videos at some point. So We Are Drops is a call and response. Ready? We are drops of one ocean, We are waves of one sea, Come and join us in our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. We are flowers of one garden, we are leaves of one tree, Come and join us in our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. All the world is one country. Man is one. Can't you see? Come and join us in our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. Let me see your mouth. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, God, guide me. So let's put our fingers up in the air. We go, oh, God, guide me, protect me, make of me a shining lamp and a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and the powerful. And then we see our muscles. I know you guys have strong muscles. We go, so powerful, so powerful. It's a light of unity. So powerful, so powerful. It's a light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. That it can illuminate the whole earth, the whole earth. I'm gonna sing Blessed is the Spot. We put our fingers up on our bottom lip like this. Ready? Blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow, where mention of God hath been made, and his praise glorified. Ooh, and his praise glorified. Ooh. I think we're going to do that one more time. Hi, Noki. My cat, Noki. We'll do it one more time. We'll see if she can get back out on her own. She does know how to open up doors. So, but she might just lie right here in the middle of all my stuff. Let's see. Because cats are cats. How about your tail out of the screen? Okay. Here we go. One more time. Yeah, she just laid down right in front of me. Okay. Right on top of my children's book. Okay, one more time. Blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow, where mention of God hath been made, praise glorified. Ooh, in his praise glorified. Okay, I'm going to play, Oh Lord, I am a child, and you can sing along to it. That's the one that goes, Oh Lord, I am a child, and then I'll have you come back.
Oh Lord, I am a child, enable me to grow beneath the shadow of thy loving kindness. I am a tender plant, cause me to be nurtured through the outpourings of the clouds of thy bounty. I am a sapling of the garden of love. Make me into a fruitful tree. Thou art the mighty and the powerful, and thou art the all-loving, the all-knowing, the all-seeing. Oh Lord, I am a child, enable me to grow beneath the shadow of thy loving kindness. I am a tender plant, cause me to be nurtured through the outpourings of the clouds of thy bounty. I am a sapling of the garden of love. Make me into a fruitful tree. Thou art the mighty and the powerful, and thou art the all-loving, the all-knowing, the all-seeing.
So today we're talking about steadfastness. And what does steadfastness mean? To be steadfast is to be firm and strongly rooted in place. To be steadfast. So here's our quote for today. Supremely lofty will be thy station, if thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord. So let's go over some of these words. Supremely lofty. Supremely means like very, very lofty, and lofty means raised up or of a high position. So supremely lofty will be thy station. Station is a word that describes where you are in life or your place. So lifted up will be your place. Think about our goal as Baha'is. Our goal as Baha'is is to grow closer to God through our virtues, through our actions, through our prayers, through meditation. And the closer we are to God, the higher our station, or we want to be as close to God as possible, right? So supremely lofty will be thy station. The closer to God you'll be if thou remainest steadfast, which means firm, unmovable, in the cause of thy Lord. Now cause, see this cause is a capital C. We often talk about how certain letters are capitalized in the writings and it has certain meaning. So the cause of thy Lord. Cause in this sense, since it was written, I believe, by Baha'u'llah, it might be by Abdul-Baha, I have to double check, is the Baha'i faith. And the cause of the Baha'i faith, which is to bring about the lesser peace, right? To be of service to other people, to unite the hearts of everyone around the world. So supremely lofty will be thy station if thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord. So steadfast in the Baha'i faith. So we're going to be talking about steadfast. I have to back up, but as you might be able to see, I have a cat in the way. She's going to be, I think she's going to be a regular for this whole lesson here. Let me just move her over so I can move back a little bit. So I was thinking about this quote yesterday, and I was thinking about all these different meanings of steadfastness. We can be steadfast in almost anything we do. We can be steadfast in our belief system. We can be steadfast in the way we treat other people. We can be a steadfast friend, which is how other people perceive us. We can see steadfastness in the way that we perceive other people. Can you think of anybody in your life who you feel will always be there no matter what happens to you? For me, no matter what, I know that my best friends will be there. I know that my family will be there for me. And I know that my husband will be there for me. So those are people that I can think of that I feel like I have a very steadfast relationship with. But then I was thinking about, how do we be firm, steadfast friends to other people? How are we steadfast in our friendships? And I think we're steadfast in the way that we treat other people. We're reliable in the way that we turn up if someone's having a hard time or we're having a hard time with somebody else. We're steadfast in the way that we call on our virtues when we need them the most. And then I was thinking about, okay, so this is telling us we need to remain steadfast in the cause. What does that mean? Does that mean when it gets really, really hard, we say, oh, I don't want to be a Baha'i. None of my other friends are Baha'is. I'm not going to be a Baha'i. No. Or maybe when it's Christmas time or people are celebrating Hanukkah or they're celebrating all these other traditions and faiths, does it mean, oh, I'm not going to be Baha'i this month, I'm going to celebrate Christmas because I want to celebrate Christmas? No. We can celebrate Christmas, we can celebrate Hanukkah, and we can celebrate all these other special holidays with our family and our friends. But as Baha'is, we have our own special holidays to also celebrate. So we're steadfast in the cause in that way. I think sometimes it can be hard to be a Baha'i, and it can be lonely to be a Baha'i if we don't have a strong Baha'i network around us. But there's so much security and so many answers in the Baha'i faith that actually make life so much easier. And if we're steadfast in our cause and in our love for God and love for Baha'u'llah and in our identity as being Baha'is, we are told that we will have this lofty station. And we also know that it will actually bring us happiness and also security. So that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was thinking about this quotation, and I was thinking about loftiness. Not loftiness, steadfastness. I have a book for you. It is called The Hare and the Tortoise, and I'm sure it's a story that you guys have read and understand and know, but this specific book was given to my husband by his mom and dad when he was only 5 years old, which might be the age of some of you that are watching this. I know it's the age of my youngest son, 5. So The Hare and the Tortoise. And you know this story because you probably also know the term slow and steady wins the race. Have you heard that term before? Slow and steady wins the race. It doesn't really make sense because normally when people are racing, they're trying to run as fast as they can to the end of the finish line. And the fastest person is the one who wins the race. But this story talks about slow and steady wins the race. And let's see why. I might have to rearrange here a little bit because, again, my cat is right in front of where I want to scooch forward. Okay, Noki, I have to move you. I know you're so comfortable and you're so cute there. Here we go. Okay. What I love about this book are the illustrations. So this one is illustrated by Brian Wildsmith. It's a really old book. I don't know if you can still buy it, but if you can, this will be in our library forever. The Hare and the Tortoise. Based on the fable by La Fontaine. Brian Wildsmith illustrated it. There's the hare, and here is the tortoise's bum. A hare and a tortoise, let me just make sure you can see it. A hare and a tortoise were having an argument. The hare, who could run very fast, thought he was much more clever than the tortoise, who could only move slowly and had to carry his house around on his back. I love the illustrations. Look at these beautiful illustrations. Now, do you think because the hare can run faster, he's smarter or more clever than the tortoise? I don't know. Let's find out. But the tortoise did not agree. To the hare's surprise, the tortoise challenged him to a race. We will run from here, over the hill, through the hedge, then along the carrot field to the old cart, he said. The hare laughed. I'm sure to win, but we will race if you like. News of the race spread quickly, and the birds and the animals gathered to watch. We have a fox, and we have some squirrels, and we have an owl, and a badger, and a raccoon, and some otters, and some kittens, and some more raccoons, and a rooster, which is called a cock. And look at all these other animals. Deer, geese, pigs. The tortoise will not have a chance, cried the fox. Wait and see, said the owl, because owls are often wise, right? The cock offered to start the race. The spectators stood back, and the cock swelled up, ready to give the signal, cock-a-doodle-doo! In a flash, the hare was off, flying over the grass. The tortoise had hardly moved. In a few moments, the hare had run over the hill and reached the hedge. He looked behind, but the tortoise was not in sight, and the hare stopped to nibble some tasty leaves. The tortoise plodded on and came to the hill. It was hard work for him to climb it, and the birds called encouragement to help him on his way. What do you think those birds were saying? Do you think those are steadfast friends? Are they helping him in hard times? They're saying, you can do it. You got this. Don't give up. Keep going. We know it's hard, but you have it in you. Keep going. Keep going. Did the tortoise give up? Or is he steadfast in his plowing through? The hare had finished eating the leaves in the hedge and dashed off again at full speed to the carrot field. He was very fond of carrots and could not resist stopping to eat some. He ate and ate and ate until he was so full he had to lie down and sleep for a while. Look at that hare's belly. Oh, he's so full. He's been eating. Do you ever have a really, really big meal and then afterwards, because you've eaten too much, you have to lay down because you're so full, and it would be so nice to fall asleep? The tortoise had only just reached the hedge. He was already tired, but he kept walking slowly on, slow and steady, slow and steady. He's not giving up, isn't he? He's staying steadfast. At last, he reached the carrot field, but the hare was too fast asleep to notice him passing by. There he goes. I love his shell. Suddenly, the hare woke up. He stared in astonishment towards the old cart, the winning post. The tortoise was almost there. Oh no! He had been sloppy. He fell asleep. Oh, look at the tortoise. He's about to pass the finish line. The hare ran as fast as he could, but it was no use. The tortoise had won the race. Here's our tortoise crossing the finish line. Here's the hare. He's not quite there. And here's, look at that raccoon's eyes. Oh, the tortoise actually won. That's what they're all saying. All the animals gathered round the tortoise while he told how, in his slow and steady way, he had won the race from the quick and careless hare. So let me ask you, do you think the tortoise had an idea that the hare, when he ran past the brush and the carrots, would stop? Do you think he knew that ahead of time? Was he clever and he knew, the hare is careless and full of himself. So when he runs by those things, he'll think he'll have all the extra time and he'll eat, and he'll fall asleep and I'll surely win. Do you think he knew that? I don't know. I think maybe he did because he's very clever. He's very smart. Do you think if the rabbit or the hare had not stopped to eat and he had stayed steadfast in his plan to get to the end before the tortoise, do you think that he would have won? Probably, right? He would have, because he was faster, but he got distracted. He got distracted by all these other things. He got careless, he got sloppy, and he fell asleep, and he was too full. He didn't stay true to his goal, which was to get to the finish line without being distracted. So what I thought we could do is make some tortoise shells to remind ourselves to stay steadfast in the cause and to remind ourselves to stay steadfast as Baha'is. And if you want, you can make a 9-point star on these to represent the Baha'i faith. But I want to first show you the shell of this tortoise. And if you've ever seen a real shell of a tortoise, it's really, really interesting. They have different patterns. Almost every single tortoise has a different pattern. There's one at the beginning of the race when they're ready to go that you can see the very top of his shell. Here it is. It's a very small picture. But do you see his shell here? See that beautiful pattern on top? So that's what our tortoises are going to look like today. On Instagram, I have a printout of a little tiny tortoise shell. I didn't mean to make it so small. I'm going to actually include one that's larger. In our children's class this morning, the parents printed theirs out to be a full page. I printed mine out tiny for my kids because they're a little bit older. If you're a little bit younger, it might be easier to a bigger shell. But if you want to do a bunch of little baby shells, you can too, because that's kind of fun. What we did was, and I'll show you how to do this, I printed out the tortoise shell. And of course, I forgot to bring up a piece of paper. But in just a minute, I'll show you how to trace the tortoise shell and draw the head and feet. Another thing you can do if you don't have extra paper to do a layered tortoise is you can, before you cut out the shell, draw the head and the feet on the piece of paper, and then you just cut around it so that it includes the head and the feet. So let me sit up and I'm going to show you. So here's what we're going to do, just so that we're all on the same page. I'm going to show you how to do this project quickly. And then I want you to take your time doing this. You don't have to do it as quick as I am. I'm just showing you how to do it. And then while you're doing your project, I'm going to read to you a story about the greatest holy leaf. And then I'll play a little bit of music for you while you do your artwork, okay? So let me just sit up and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so here are the materials you're going to need for this project. We're going to need the printout, or you can draw your own shell. It doesn't have to be tiny like mine. It can be the full size of a piece of paper if you want. If you have little kids, or if you are a little kid, ask your parents to print you a bigger one because it'll be easier to color in. If you're a little bit older, like maybe 5, 7, 10, go for the little ones because you can get really cool little details on the little ones. But just like people, turtles come in all shapes and sizes. So make it whatever size you're most comfortable with or whatever you can figure out how to do. If you don't have a printer, just draw yourself a shell, no problem. You're gonna need a piece of colored paper. It can be any color. I have this sparkly green one, which I thought would be nice for the head and the feet. You don't have to use paper. You can just draw a head and feet on your printout or on your, above your shell and on the sides. It'll look like this. And then cut it out using a single piece of paper. You can, if you'd like, I'm going to show you how to make it so that you actually create the bottom of the turtle. I just did that because it was easier for me, but if you want and you don't have a whole lot of paper, but maybe you have some scrap colored paper at home, you can just cut out the feet and the head and the tail and stick it onto your piece of paper so that you don't use as much paper. You're going to need, these are oil pastels. You don't need to use oil pastels. You can use crayons instead, or if you don't have crayons or oil pastels and a simple watercolor paint set, you can just use markers, colored pencils, anything that you have on hand. I know you probably have something of that sort. So if you are going to go with the oil pastels and the watercolors, make sure you have a paintbrush and you also have water to wash your paintbrush. Do not do it on your carpet like I am doing. Do it at a table, or at least make sure that wherever you're working, it's protected. You're also going to need a pencil if you're going to be tracing the body onto another piece of paper, and scissors for cutting things out. Since I am working on my floor, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard just to protect my carpet because it's white and I do not want to get anything on it. More than likely, you don't own your carpets. They are your parents' carpets, so do whatever makes your parents most comfortable. I do not recommend doing art projects on your parents' carpet because I can tell you from firsthand I've gotten in trouble a lot for that as I was growing up. Now I own my own carpet, so I can do whatever I want, but I still want to keep them nice, looking nice for our guests who are coming. So we're going to be very careful of the things that we own. I'm going to do it on this piece of cardboard. I have this little tiny shell. I'm going to be decorating with oil pastels like I mentioned before. If you are doing this technique where you take oil pastels or you use crayons and then paint over it with watercolor, use light colored pastels. They look cooler when you paint over them. I'm going to now read you a story while I start decorating my shell. Sound good? Okay, great. Work hard and be careful with what you're doing. You don't have to just scribble, scribble, scribble. You can if you want, but tortoises and turtles have these most beautiful designs on their shells. So take your time and let's see what you create. And when you're all done, send it to me so I can see, okay? I'm gonna move these over here. All right, let's learn. Let's listen to this story. Perhaps you know that Bahíyyih Khánum was the younger sister of Abdul-Baha. She was only 6 years old when their beloved father Baha'u'llah was arrested and sent to prison by an unjust government that was fearful of the truth of the divine message she proclaimed. Her family had been one of the wealthiest in the city, which means they had a lot of money. Now all of their possessions were taken away. At times she had only a handful of flour to eat in place of bread. When her father was released at last and forced by the government to leave their homeland, Bahíyyih Khánum and her family set out on mules for the city of Baghdad in a neighboring country. Mules are donkeys. The journey took 3 months in the bitter cold of winter. Never again would she return to the land of her birth. For 10 years, the family remained in Baghdad, where Bahíyyih Khánum passed the rest of her childhood. Then suddenly her father was ordered by the authorities, still threatened by his growing influence, to leave Baghdad. And Bahíyyih Khánum, now a young woman, went with her family, first to far-off Constantinople, and then to Adrianople. Danger was at its height. Opposition to her father grew, and eventually an attempt was made on his precious life, which means someone tried to murder him. After almost 5 years in Adrianople, living under such stress and strain, dear Bahíyyih Khánum was uprooted once again when the government banished her father to the prison city of Akka. For some 40 years, that gentle soul lived with her family as a prisoner among the worst criminals within the walls of the desolate city. During that time, the father, who she loved so desperately, departed this world, and with his passing, it now became Bahíyyih Khánum's duty to support her beloved brother, who had been appointed the head of his father's faith. Many of their friends and relatives, jealous of Abdul-Baha, turned against him, but Bahíyyih Khánum faced each blow with quiet patience and fortitude. And when Abdul-Baha passed into the next world many years later, Bahíyyih Khánum became the greatest supporter and staunchest defender of his grandson, young Shoghi Effendi, as he took over the duties that fell on him as his grandfather's successor. Bahíyyih Khánum, now an old woman, some 70 years of age, her life had been filled with turmoil and upheaval. It moved from adversity to adversity, from calamity to calamity. But her spirit remained constant, and her heart always filled with the love of God. She was steadfast and firm. The dignity and joy, the kindness and grace that were hers as a child stayed with her until the final days of her life. We're going to listen to some music now.
We get discouraged, faults are many, strengths are few, not enough time to do what we should. We want to give up, there's so much to do. That's when we listen to the Master, forget about self and the world today. That's when we listen to the Master's words of encouragement. He would say, Kam Kam, ruse peruse, little by little, day by day. Kam Kam, ruse peruse, little by little, day by day. Kam Kam, ruse peruse, little by little, day by day. Kam Kam, ruse peruse, little by little, day by day. Joy gives wings, let's be happy, brave those troubles all the way. When hearts are filled with praise and gratitude, there will be time enough, he would say. So don't forget, listen to the Master patiently, he showed us the way. Don't forget, listen to the Master's words of encouragement every day. Kam Kam, ruse peruse, little by little, day by
supremely lofty will be thy station if thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord. Steadfast in the cause of thy Lord. Steadfast in the cause of thy Lord. Supremely lofty will be thy station if thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord. If thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord.
Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers.
Strive that your actions day by day may be beautiful prayers. Turn towards God and seek always to do that which is right and noble, enrich the poor, raise the fallen, comfort the sorrowful, bring healing to the sick, reassure the fearful, rescue.
Here we go, our finished turtle. I don't know if you noticed, but while I was painting, I first used a light color to make the pattern on the shell, and then I painted it with watercolor, and then I actually went around and painted kind of along where the lines are because the shell has shape to it, and so I wanted a little bit of shadowing. I didn't do a very good job, but you can kind of get the point. It's a little bit darker along the bottom where the shell would crease. So that's why I went back and did that. Here are the ones that my kids did earlier today. We have this guy. This is an organic structure or an organic themed, so there's really no going wrong. It can look like anything. You can't mess up with these guys. Okay, so I can't wait to see what you guys make. Thank you for joining me this week. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.